Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Any Button Gaming. As always, I'm your host, Jesse Georgie. Happy Friday to start things off, and it is Next Gen Week. So, our guest for today, Twitch streamer and speedrunner, ShikenNuggets, or Carter. How are you doing?
Good. Very good.
Well, thank you for being on the show. We really appreciate it. So, I want to start off really light. Where did your love for gaming kind of start? What were your favorite video games growing up?
Well, as early as I can remember, I've been playing video games. My earliest memory is getting destroyed in Pokemon Stadium by my brother. And just since then, it's just continued and continued to grow.
And then, so that's kind of your love for video games. But like I said in the introduction, you're a speedrunner. So kind of where
Yes.
did that kind of start? Like, how does someone get into that?
So the games that I run are the Batman Arkham games, which are like that's pretty much my favorite game series of all time. And I just would play them a lot and I'd play it over and over and over again because they're just so fun. But like just playing through the story over and over again gets a little boring. But then I discovered this speedrunning thing. Like I just saw people doing it. I don't know if you're familiar with games done quick. Yeah, I saw somebody do an Arkham City speedrun at that event, and I was like, oh hey, that looks fun. And it's like a new way to enjoy those games.
So I totally understand you, but now let me like add a little bit to it. Does that itself like it has to get tiring at times? Because like personally for me, I think the closest thing I've ever done to speed running is like at work. I do some work with PlayStation, and when it's really dead, I'll like play against my coworkers and like
Hmm.
crash team racing just to see who can get the fastest lap. But that's like the closest thing. So for you, like I'm assuming you tried these runs like for hours and hours. Do you not get tired of it? Do you kind of get some fatigue from that?
I don't experience that too much, but what also helps is there's like a lot of different categories. So there's like any percent, which is just beating the main story. There's 100%, which is doing all the side missions and all the collectibles. And there's like several different variations, like you can do it all on different difficulties. And there's 4 games. So you can, if you're getting fatigued by something, you can just bounce around to one of the other categories or one of the other games.
So, what speedrun accomplishment would you say you're most proud of?
I currently hold the any percent world record for Batman Arkham City. I would say that's what I'm most proud of. That's definitely the category I put the most time into.
And how long did that take you in terms of like starting, practicing, all of that, like getting to where you are and then getting the record? Like, how long did that take?
Um, so when I first got it, from when I started running Arkham City to when I got that record, it was about like 6 months of like pretty focused running that and only that. And I've that was like 2-ish years ago. And I've held it almost the entire time since then, just from continually improving it and practicing and all that.
And how many times in those 2 years has someone kind of beat you and then you've had to kind of beat your own time?
That happened once. It was like
One?
2 months ago, and I took it back 2 days later.
There you go. That's what I like to hear. So like I said at the beginning, it is next gen week. I'm sure as a gamer, obviously you know all about the PlayStation 5
Yes.
and the Xbox Series X. So what are your thoughts on? I mean, we're a few days after the release of the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, and it seems like it's become nearly impossible to find one anywhere. What
Yep.
do you think it is about these consoles that's just pulling in so many people?
Well, I think there's a lot of things. First of all, like gaming is just more popular now. Like it's just grown over the years, like compared to 2013 when the PlayStation 4 came out. There's just a lot more people gaming, and especially with the pandemic, a lot of people just at home wanting new things to do. Um,
Yeah,
it's also just really appealing because it has the full backwards compatibility. Like the PS5 can play all the PS4 games. The Xbox Series X has full compatibility all the way back to the original Xbox, which is super cool. So you can just buy the upgraded console and like basically throw out your old one.
100%. And I think it's interesting that you brought up the pandemic because we've talked about it on other episodes, but it's, you know, it seems like almost every industry because of this pandemic has kind of suffered, and it's pretty clear why. But gaming industry is kind of one of the only ones that I think most people would argue it's improved because, like you said, there's so many people at home, so many people that want to play different games and have some extra time on their hands now.
Yeah, it really is doing so much better. It's kind of crazy.
So like you said, between like 2013 and now, the gaming industry has changed. what do you think in terms of like the last decade has changed to make the gaming industry blow up? You know, with esports and all these different games, all these different consoles. What do you think has been kind of the main route for this huge growth in the gaming industry?
I think it's just really it's just that it's become more mainstream and like more people are taking it seriously, and it's not just like a toy that kids play with, and it's
For
like
sure.
a lot more acknowledged as like an actual art form.
100%. So another question I had for you, of course, you're a streamer, you stream on Twitch, you do your speed runs. What would you say is kind of the biggest tip for aspiring streamers who kind of want to continue to grow their channel? Of course, you're growing yours, but you've been able to gain quite a bit of a following. So is it just kind of consistency or anything else there?
Consistency is definitely a big one. Another thing, what a lot of people don't do is they basically just stream on Twitch, like, and that's it. And that doesn't really work anymore because Twitch doesn't have like super good discoverability. So what you have to do is create content on other more discoverable platforms like YouTube, where people can actually find your content and then jump over to your Twitch and watch you there.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think I've done some streaming myself on Twitch, and like you said, it is very difficult for people to actually find you without already knowing who you are, because
Exactly.
you go to that browse page, no matter what game, if you don't have that following from the beginning, very few people are going to scroll all the way to the bottom to look at someone that has a couple of streamers. So I think
Exactly.
that's a good tip. Most people have said consistency, but I think you're right with that kind of expanding, going to other platforms, trying to pull people into your Twitch is definitely a good idea. Um, so another question I had from the streaming side, how did you kind of start the streaming part? Of course, you said you've been a gamer for a while. Where did the streaming kind of come into play?
Well, basically with speedrunning, it's sort of just, that's just what you do when you're doing attempts, you just stream them. So I kind of just got into that culture, and that's pretty much it.
For sure. I only got two more questions. First one, where did ShikenNuggets come from? What is the origin of the name? Because when I first heard about the interview, they're like, "Oh, you're gonna be talking to Chicken Nuggets." I'm like, "What?" And then I'm like, "Oh, ShikenNuggets." So where did the name come from?
That's a very good question, and I wish I knew the answer. I
You just
was
came up with it?
13 and I made a nickname and it stuck, and now it's part of who I am.
I love it. I love it. That's kind of how some of the best names come. You know, there doesn't have to be a big backstory. It's just your name. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Last question for you. It's a question I like to ask all of the guests. At what point were you like happiest playing games? Like, what is your favorite gaming moment? What moment made you the happiest?
It's a very good question. One that immediately stands out, when Batman Arkham Knight came out, it had the Adam West batsuit, like the old 1960s style. So you could, and it also had like in-engine cutscenes, so you could play through the entire game with the Adam West suit on. That was so much fun.
I love it. I love it. Carter, Chicken Nuggets, thank you for taking the time to talk to us. I really appreciate it. Watch out. I'm going to be coming for your times. All those Batman times, I'm coming for them. I'm going to start practicing.
Look
But yeah,
forward to
thank
the
you for taking the time
competition.
to talk to us.
You're
Awesome.
welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
And for everyone tuning in at Any Button Gaming, thank you guys for watching the video. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit the like as well, so you don't miss any content from Any Button Gaming.